Hello again. So this episode, or last episode, I was trying to make a longer list of foods that I could use in my function to get a better chance of finding place names that match food names to fit into my rhyming scheme in my poem template that I'm constructing in Python. So in this video, I think, well, we'll keep working on that. I'm pretty much going to pick up right where I left off. We're trying to make these lists longer and see what I can do with that. So start things back up again, jump right back into it. So the place I left it at was, let me go ahead and define a few things. Run these cells so that I make sure everything is good. Okay, so good, so sort of double checking everything is still in place. This is the template, and then I'm going to be switching things out. But the real work I'm doing right now is way down here. I'm trying to get this getPairs function to return a rhyming pair of one place name and one food name that rhyme. And I know it's possible, but I haven't got any yet. So I'm trying to make my lists longer. And what I did is I went back to PyCorpora, or Corpora rather, and then using PyCorpora, I'm going to try to construct longer lists of foods. To fit my meter, these still need to be 2 syllables long. So that was, I think, what led to me not having that many options left, even after I added fruits, sausages, and vegetables. So, I'm going to keep working on this. One change I made here was that, again, to make it easier to read, you might remember last time this list was just that list plus that list plus that list, and it was being concatenated, so it just went all the way off over here, and you couldn't see it. So what I did is I rearranged this. So now this is a list of lists, and then I'm going to need to combine those to make this big food list into a single thing right here. So I will do that now. So this way I can put each of these lists on its own line as I'm constructing this. Python lets me do that with this structure here. So you can tell this is a list, by the way, because I have a square bracket there, a square bracket here. Can I make that a little bigger? So I have the square brackets here and here. There it is. And so I can just make each item on its own line like this, as long as I end all of them except the last one with a comma to show that they're part of this line. So I can keep adding as many of these as I want to. Let's see, I don't need that big one there. That kind of looks silly just sitting right there. So, so I'm going to combine all these into a single big list now, which I've called big food list, and I will do that here. So I need to define it first. So we'll say that big food list is an empty list, and then for FL in food lists, big food list plus equals FL. So I think this is right. So I'm going to be using the plus equals notation. The plus equals notation is the same as writing big food list equals big food list plus FL. So it's a little bit tidier and shorter just to use that plus equals thing. So plus equals is like this thing now equals this thing plus this new thing that I've added. And I'm pretty sure that works for list concatenation. If not, we'll find out soon. So since food list is constructed here, and then big food list is defined here and then populated here, and then it uses the big food list here and returns it as the keepers is list. All these lists, this is really, again, this is an example of how there's probably a much more efficient way to do this, but this is the way I do it. Let's see, okay, so syntax turned out okay. Let's see if I run get foodses, what I get from that. Okay, so it's the same list. I already had it down here, but it's the same list, but that's fine. That's because I haven't changed any of the data yet. So that's just confirming that I'm getting the same output that I needed from all of these things. So now I can make this list bigger just by adding more things from Corpora. So let's see what I got. Again, just kind of working in the foods character as the foods thing here. I don't know, we could go with curds, I guess. I feel like if I used one of these names in the context of a poem, no one would know that these are curds. I don't know what these are. So I'm going to try something else. Pizza toppings. I guess, yeah, we can do pizza toppings. And that one looks like it's the same kind of organization. So PyCorpora.foods.pizza toppings. You notice it uses the camel case for this, for the name. So I'll use that here. Should be several two-syllable options here, I would think. Let's find out. No. Oh, what did I miss? Pizza toppings. There we go. And yeah, so it did some weird pluralization with some of these, like mushrooms is, but that's okay. It sort of pluralized it twice. I can work my way around that eventually, but I'll leave it for now. Probably won't get to that in this video series at all, but that's okay. Okay, so we have a few more items that we're getting somewhere. Wine descriptions, tea. I guess if I do beverages, I have to change the verb to drink instead of eat. So maybe I'll avoid that for now. Apple? I don't know. There's a lot of apple varieties. Kind of like with the curds, though. I don't know if I can get, if it would be clear, like if I had Kalman on here, if that would be clear that that's an apple. And then by the time, if I were to add in my poem template Kalman apple, then that would be too many syllables. So there would be almost no cases where this would actually work. Okay, so what else? Well, breads and pastries. Those are things we can eat. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so there's actually two lists in here. There's breads and pastries as separate lists, but that's all right. We can use both of them. And probably some two-syllable ones. Let's hope so. And let's hope that this actually gives me enough to work with. PyCorpora.foods. What was it? Oh, breads and pastries. So I'll do the breads, and then I will do the pastries. Is that how they did it? Yeah, so you see this list actually contains two lists. So there's the breads here and the pastries here. So I need to refer to both of these as I use them. Like this by name. Not bread and pastries. There we go. So the list is getting longer little by little. I don't know. Maybe we'll have more luck with place names. So let's go ahead and do that too. So let's go into places. Oh, I forgot to start my timer. All right, well, I'll give this one. I've already been going for at least 5 minutes, right? So let me go ahead and make this just a 5-minute timer. So, because I want to keep these short. These are easier to work with if I make them short. So let's go back to the get cities, and we'll do something similar down here where I'm going to come up with, I'll make a place lists list. Start off with the cities, which I already have. And I'll add some more items here, and I'll do a big place list thing and add because I mean, to be clear, maybe it should be big places list. Okay, I'm confident that there's a better and more efficient way to do this, but this is how I'm doing it. Okay, so I've got cities, and so I'll just go ahead and I'm going to make a new cell right down here just to test my cities. Once I'm done with it, let me test it with the same data that I already have, which is cities, just to confirm that this new workflow actually is valid. So now I need to find some more lists of place names that I can add in here and see if I can get this list longer. So this is under geography. This could also be other things too, but let's see what we got here. Okay, so these are rivers. This might actually be good because I could use this, but I had to do a bit more work on this because each river in this list has multiple pieces to it, but that's okay, I can work with that. This is what I had to do here to get the city out of the list of city objects. Okay, so that's a possibility. We'll come back to rivers. Let's see if there's anything that's already a bit more structured. English towns and cities. Hey, that is a list. Look at that. Okay, and probably quite a few that are going to be, have the right meter. So let's go with this. So this is English towns and cities. So it's PyCorpora dot geography dot English towns and cities. Was it like that? English towns, cities. And, there's two lists here. There's towns and cities as two lists. Okay, great. That's even better. So English towns and cities, towns. I misspelled that. Okay, so that did not actually add anything, did it? Or did it? I can't tell if it did. Let me see. I see an error in my code, so I'm expecting this to fail, but yeah, that's the same. Yeah, so the reason that it did not actually add any English cities or towns is down here. So whenever I was parsing the pronunciation information over here, you notice that I'm using, when I actually refer to the city name, the actual name of the city that I want to use in here, when I was pulling the English, the US city names, those were listed in objects that had a different structure. So I had to reference that structure here when I said city, and then with a city right there as the name of that thing. So I can show you what that looks like in here. Here it's like, so each of these, this is a list of, there I am. This is a list of objects, and so each object has a attribute named city. So within these, or a value of city. So it's like, this is the city, this is the name of that city. So I had to reference it each time I went through that item. In this case, in the case of the English towns and cities, I don't. It's just a list of names. So I'm going to have to figure out how to work that, to create a different pronunciation list within this. I'm still using, oh wait, I'm also only working my way through the cities list anyway. Let's go ahead and rearrange this a little bit here before we finish up this episode. Call it place, and then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to construct this pronunciation list in one of two ways. So I'm going to say if, I don't know if this will work. Let's find it out. So I'm going to find out if there is a property called city, then construct the pronunciation list by that. Otherwise, construct it the old-fashioned way. With just the place. So what I'm not sure is whether or not this will work as the test to see if that actually is in there. It may fail. In other words, it may try to look that up even if it's not there, and then fail before it can report true or false. But let's see, maybe this works. The syntax. Oh, I'm missing a comma. Name city is not defined. Oh, right. Oh yeah, so here's the issue too. I'm only keeping, I'm gonna have to refer back to the same difference down here. Yep, so I think this calls for a bit of refactoring and rethinking this whole function a little bit. So that will be the next episode. This is taking a lot longer than I expected, but thanks for watching so far. That's the end of episode 9. I'm doing things like that so that I can see visually at the end of each episode when I'm editing later on. Probably shouldn't have closed all those tabs. Oh well. That's the end of episode 9. Well.